Swami Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Srimate Bakti Vedanta Swami Tinamni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Suchayini Devi Shesha Sunyavadi Pasasha Jesatani Hare Krishna. Okay, first I'd like to, Maharaj is actually a very, very gentle person. The way he sings, the way he keeps class, the way he acts. It was really nice, the way he speaks. And his bhajans are really super. Everybody knows Maharaj. Initially, I was, the 80s, I learned some of the bhajans actually from Maharaj. What I got tapes, he was singing all the songs I really learned from his tapes initially, early 80s. And Maharaj did a lot of contribution, especially during Centennial. He came with the Bakthi Charu movie, which was really a success. Everybody watching, even my family, my children, they liked it. Initially they came by episode. Later they compiled the whole thing. So we were really enjoying, and a lot of devotees also all over the world they enjoyed. And another contribution from Maharaj is the Ujjain temple. I was just reading, and then they said actually they completed the temple in 10 months, which was actually a record for our ISKCON temple. ISKCON temple taking a long time to build. Now you look at TOVP, it's really beyond the time taking. So Maharaj was very expert, he just pushed his project. And Ujjain temple actually is a place where Krishna and Balaram had studied, and under Sandipani Muni's ashram. So that is the temple we have the deities of Sandipani Muni Murti is there. So Maharaj achievement, you can see so many devotees he met all over the world. Even recently I went to Switzerland, your god brother, Damodar Prasad Prabhu is a temple president of Switzerland, and he's doing very nicely in Switzerland. So he, actually all over the world he made devotee. Even in Italy, we went to the temple, there were a lot of Maharaj disciples there. He's preaching in Italy also. So all over the world he traveled, and then he preached and made a lot of devotees. And important thing is he really imprint, everybody's heart. He put Srila Prabhupada in the center, and everybody are working nicely together. And for me, early days actually, I had a good fortune. Because the time Maharaj came, he got no disciple. So I had a very close association with Maharaj, and he likes to cook. Just now you saw his tapes. He was super cook, So he comes to the temple, every day he was cooking, and I was his assistant. I don't know anything. He will ask me, cut even vegetable, I don't know how to cut. He will teach me, He give me one sample, he will cut this way, anything, green banana, he say cut this angle. He give me one sample, so I just follow. So my job is just cut vegetable, and then I wash the dishes, and he will do the main preps, and then we will do the offering. And it was a very good time. We had a prasadam made by Maharaj. I think a lot of people, a lot of disciples even had a fortune. I think they had a fortune, and this one also I repeated it many times, but I like to say again. And one day he asked me, whether I had pizza, So I was new. Actually, when I joined Krishna Conscious, I never had pizza in my life. So he told me, you don't know what is pizza? I said, I don't know. So he said, okay, tomorrow I make for you. Then he gave me a list of items to buy, one long list, and a lot of items I don't know. Those days, I don't know, he put asparagus, he said artichoke, rosemary, thyme, and then so many things, all these things we don't know. So I said, okay, I will just try it. So I took the list. I went to cold storage. Those days, the salespeople are very helpful, not like nowadays. Nowadays, you go to the supermarket, you ask them, where is this item? They just point finger, you go and find there. But those days, they are very helpful. They just follow with the card, all the item. And artichoke, I never seen before in my life. He showed me, this is artichoke. It looks like a lotus flower, but it's green color. So I just bought everything happily, and I bring back. And I was so excited, So I show Maharaj, these are the things I bought and everything. And I took the artichoke, I showed him. I said, this. Then he said, he put his hand on me, said, Hare Krishna. I said, what happened? Actually, he want artichoke to be in the bottle, It's a slice, so they can put on the, I didn't know. So he said, so he keep one side, he said, we will cook another day. So he made, so I was helping cutting the vegetable, even the spices, actually supposed to be dried, I didn't know, I bought the fresh rosemary and fresh thyme. So he said, no problem, so he made with the tomatoes, he made the sauce, everything else. My job is to cut, and his job, he did his pizza, everything, the layer, everything he did. I was just assisting him with it. And finally, we made a pizza. And that was we offered them, all of us, there were a few devotees there, we all taken, and that was the first pizza I had in my life. First and the best. Why I can say best? Okay. Even my wife makes a pizza, I think not that sensitive. Because Maharaj really eat it all fresh. Nowadays they use, because my wife not here, I can say. So, because nowadays we use this can on, tomato puri, actually it's not authentic. They use everything fresh. Then you can make offer to the deities. You can see that it was the best pizza we had in Maharaj. And also we had the opportunity to bring Maharaj to Sentosa. Those days, he likes Sentosa because it was so clean. He had this idea, we were going to see the musical fountain. He said, I should do this fountain in Mayapur, He said, if Mayapur, he likes a garden, the way they do, kept it clean, He said, this we should do in the temple. Everything, he was totally Krishna conscious. He wanted to implement whatever we have here, he wanted to do it for the Lord. So he was totally, so it was a great fortune. I had this great association. So we should take his advantage. Like Maharaj actually gives, like yesterday, Govardhana Maharaj said, all spiritual master gives Krishna to us. So we take from them Krishna. So we should also cannot be selfish. We should give to other people. And the only way we can give other people is by distributing books, which will make not only our spiritual master happy, also makes Srila Prabhupada happy. So we should always try to distribute books. And who is going to become devotee, we don't know. One day, anybody will become devotee. I became a devotee just by reading one book by Sri Ishopanisha. So similarly, we can give books, then our spiritual master will become pleased. Jai His Holiness Bakthi Charu Swami ki Jai. Bakthi Charu Swami Vyasa Puja ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Jai Sriman Balakrishna Prabhu ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna. Getting more and more embarrassing. Next, I would like to invite Devoti Prabhu to speak on the glories of Bakthi Charu Swami Maharaj. Namo
Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bakthi Charu Swami Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Jesikarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivastava Gaura Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Jai So many of us were fortunate to see Maharaj as he started coming to Singapore in the last maybe 8-10 years. Balakrishna Prabhu, thank you so much for giving us remembrance of Maharaj, which was actually happening many years ago in the 80s. My only recollection of that was Sudarshan Prabhu telling me that when they would sometimes go out for book distribution and Maharaj would be in the temple, he would make pizzas for them, and he would keep everything for them so that and he would wait up for them, and he would serve them pizzas, and they all became very happy. And the thing is, very often, sometimes when I spoke to Maharaj on the phone, Maharaj would be sharing a recipe with me, and I have no idea how to cook. Very bad at this. I think I'm worse about Krishna Prabhu. But I'll just hear, and he would say that this is how we are cooking, and this is how I want to do the recipe, and this is what I want to offer to Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes when I went to Mayapur, Maharaj would be in Mayapur for the GBC meetings. He had his own room, and at some point or the other, always he would invite devotees to come, and he would actually, he would cook for them, and he would feed them. And I also had the good fortune of being invited by Maharaj to his quarters, and there he would cook a big feast, and there wouldn't be space on the table. That's how many dishes he would make, and some of the dishes would be kept, on a low table on the floor, and it was amazing how he would cook so much. And then before we started having prasadam, he would spend 15 minutes telling me the recipe for all the different dishes. And again, I would just, yes, Maharaj, yes. I would say, Maharaj, actually, I don't know how to cook. Maharaj says, okay, you should hear. And he would just go through everything. He would tell me this is a special dish, it only comes in Bengal. And then he would say, this one is very special because in Bengal, we only do it in Mayapur area or Nadia district. So like that, he was, I think all of us became very attracted to Maharaj because he was very personal. He was very personal. And no matter how many thousands of disciples he had, and he had thousands of disciples all over the world, no matter how many God brothers spent time with him, he always had time for everybody. No one who met him actually felt that he was hurried with them. No one felt that he had no time for them. It was not like that at all. I think all the disciples of Maharaj were here. When Maharaj would come here, before he initiated the disciples to be, Maharaj would come one afternoon or one evening, and he would call all the disciples to be, right? And then he would call the name, and he would speak to each and every one of you. And everyone whom he spoke to would feel that at that time, Maharaj was paying 100% attention to them. No one felt that the initiation he was giving was a formality. And no one felt that Maharaj had to do it because he had to do it. He never felt that way. So whenever he wanted to give initiation, and he was drawing up the names, or he was thinking, how these devotees work, particularly in Singapore. Every time he came to Singapore, he felt great compassion for his disciples. And he felt particularly that all of them were working so hard and so many hours a day. And he just wondered with amazement how they could give so much of commitment and time to Krishna. He would tell me that, I feel so much, I feel that I have so much to learn from them because they are working and I'm not. And they spend 12, 15 hours a day in the hot sun. And then they come back and they cook for Krishna. They offer it and then they will take. And many of them go to bed very late. And when they have Namhata programs, it is even later, because they have to cook, they come back very late, everyone is late, and they stay up, but in the morning they are awake. And Maharaj said that they can still continue to fulfill their vows, even if they are very tired. So whenever I ask Maharaj, do you think you can give initiation to them? Will they be able to keep their vows? Maharaj always had confidence in all of you that you would keep your vows. He has so much confidence in all of you. And I thought it's important today that I share it with you. Because this is something, when the spiritual master has confidence in the disciple, even if the disciple is unqualified, the disciple becomes qualified. This is what my Guru Maharaj taught me. He said, have confidence in all devotees, because when you have confidence in disciples, the Guru empowers the disciples to do things that they cannot do. So Maharaj had so much of mercy on all his disciples, and he gave so much of mercy to so many non-disciples. And so many of us were so attracted to Maharaj because he gave us time. He gave us so much of care. And he was really personally always asking us how we were. When our spiritual master departed from this world in 2010, we didn't know what to do. We didn't know who to call. We didn't know how to perform the last rites of Maharaj. We were really bewildered in the hospital. But then within 1 hour, Bakthi Charu Maharaj flew in. And when he flew in along with other sannyasis and other gurus and other devotees, he just took charge. He had met my Guru Maharaj maybe once or twice physically. I had asked him, Maharaj, because in my head I was thinking, why are you coming so far? And what is the relationship? Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Maiki. What is the relationship? But Maharaj said that I didn't meet your spiritual master so much, but I could understand from what little time I was meeting him, how exalted and how much service he had done for Prabhupada. So if we are all part of Prabhupada's family, is it not our duty to serve the Vaishnavas when something has happened? And so Maharaj took charge of everything. He guided us through all the ceremonies of the Samadhi. He was the one who put the sannyas mantras on my Guru Maharaj's chest. And he told us how Maharaj should actually be interred into Samadhi. And when he gave us these instructions, we did not realize at that time that he was the one who did the sannyas mantras for Srila Prabhupada. He did that for Prabhupada also. So we were very honored, and we were completely swept by Maharaj's love for us. And even after my Guru Maharaj was put into Samadhi, every quarterly, 2-3 months, Bakthi Charu Maharaj would call us and he would ask us, so how is the Samadhi Seva going? Are you all taking care of Maharaj? What should you be doing? How are the disciples of Maharaj doing? He was very concerned because he said the most important consideration is that at no point should anyone leave Srila Prabhupada, and that the Guru principle is one. Maharaj never liked the fact that we were divided by fault lines of Guru. Maharaj always insisted on his disciples that if there is an issue, you bow first. This is what he told his disciples. If there's a misunderstanding, you say sorry first. And if there's something that you think someone has been faulty with, it's all right. It becomes your fault first. He told this to the GBC many times. And that is why even at the GBC level, whenever there were disputes that could not be resolved, Maharaj was asked to go. Bakthi Charu Maharaj was asked to speak to the devotees whom no one would speak to, or whom no one could speak to. And because of his loving nature and his all-embracing way of getting everyone together, many times he kept the movement together. Single-handedly, I have seen him keep the movement together. But Maharaj is not just all soft and loving. When he became chairman of the GBC in that year, the New York temple was going to be sold without anyone realizing it. It was going to be sold for $70 to $75 million on the market. And Bakthi Charu Maharaj was the chairman that year. When he heard that the temple was going to be sold, and this temple is Srila Prabhupada's property, Maharaj became a lion. He flew in from wherever he was into New York with the rest of the GBC members who were appointed. He walked into the temple and he removed the president of the temple there and then. And he took over the temple literally as GBC chairman. He installed a committee, he stopped the sale, he instituted legal proceedings to get back the temple, and we won that landmark case. And because of Bakthi Charu Maharaj's stewardship and leadership that day, Srila Prabhupada's temple, one of the most expensive and one of the most important temples, is the temple of Radha Govindaji, right, in New York's Skimmerhorn Street. That temple we would have lost. But because of Bakthi Charu Maharaj's his firmness, his determination, and his lack of compromise, that is the time that was needed. Then he showed us that nothing should leave Srila Prabhupada that belongs to Srila Prabhupada. So Maharaj has shown so much to us as a personality. And even though he left from this world in terms of our material vision, the truth remains that if we follow his instructions, many of the disciples and even followers of Maharaj, we continue to feel his presence in our lives. We do. To all the disciples of Maharaj who are here every week doing so much of programs, to all the disciples of Maharaj who are in the Namhatas all around the island and who are working so hard to preach Krishna consciousness, I offer you my respectful obeisances, because you are flying the flag of Maharaj very high, very high. Please keep doing this, and always remember that Bakthi Charu Maharaj is watching over each and every one of you, and he is still very powerful, and his instructions are eternal. This is something we should remember. I want to read an offering that Maharaj himself made to Srila Prabhupada on Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja in 2012. And I think it says so much about what kind of Vaishnava and the purity that Maharaj had. And I think it's good for us to reflect on it. Maharaj, it's an excerpt, I'll read it. One day you asked me not to cook for you, saying, you can see that I can't eat anything. Still, why are you cooking? You have so many things to do. Why are you wasting your time cooking for me? I, meaning Maharaj, I told you, I cook, hoping that someday you will feel better and would like to eat something. You replied, Srila Prabhupada, I will get better only when I leave this world. I, Maharaj, I broke down crying in a very soothing voice. You said, is this what you learned from me? Is this what I taught you? Didn't I teach you that the spirit soul is immortal and never changing? It is only the body that changes and finally dies when the soul leaves the body. Now Maharaj is speaking. When you left this planet, those instructions remained as my guiding beacon. Although my heart ached with constant agony due to your separation, I tried to remember that you were always there. At that time, I used to imagine that just as a mother sometimes hides when teaching her son to walk, urging him to start walking by searching for her, similarly you are hiding behind some invisible curtain so that I will search for you and thus develop my ardent desire to go where you are. Maharaj concludes, those days I used to think I had so many things to do here, meaning the world. Therefore I needed to stay. Now that I have done whatever you wanted me to do, please allow me to go back to you. You have already called back so many of your dear children. Now please allow me to have this good fortune, aspiring to be your eternal servant, Bakthi Charu Swami. I think Maharaj's mood was always serving in separation from Srila Prabhupada, but his leaving the world was not accidental. The Vaishnavas can choose when to leave, and when he decided that he had done enough here so that he must continue with Srila Prabhupada, that was his prayer. but his instructions live forever. And so Maharaj, thank you for being so much a part of our lives. We pray that we continue to serve you and serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada, because I think that will give you great pleasure. Please teach us to be tolerant, please teach us to cooperate, and please teach us to see things through the eye of Guru, Sadhu, and Sashtra. Jai His Holiness Bakthi Charu Swami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai Sriman Devoti Prabhu ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Kulashekar Prabhu, may I invite you to speak in glorification of Srila Bakthi Charu Maharaj.
Srimati Bakthi Charu Swami Maharaj. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhattale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sundavadi Paschatute. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Sivasati Gaura. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. I cannot speak about his ocean of mercy. You know, he wrote a book, the Ocean of Mercy or Karuna Sindhu in Bengali. And I somehow met him quite a few times, and in my house also he came also. But I just wanted to tell that whatever a Vaishnava does, that we normally tell if we give one step, Krishna will give 10 steps. But for Vaishnava, like he might be given 100 steps. When Bakthi Charu Swami came to Mayapur, because he was so much searching for the real Guru, when he came ultimately in the 1976, and he just, next day he, in the Mayapur, he shaved his head and came, so all devotees were mesmerized by his accent so much. And he just gave this, and you know, the next day, now Lord Krishna or gave maybe 100 steps to take him, and he somehow, in the Ocean of Mercy, he told that after taking so much from the like Jagannath Swami, Bhavananda Swami, and all those who helped him so much, but he just wanted to go because his father wanted him to go back, so for some marriage. But he went there, but you see how the God has taken a lot, the Lord Krishna has taken 100 steps. Jagannath Swami went to him, to his house, to bring him back to Mayapur. So this is the thing, and he got this initiation in 3 months. This Harinam initiation, Gayatri Mantra, as well as the sannyas in 3 months. And in those two initiations he took at the same time, because Srila Prabhupada knows his potential. He has so much potential that he could cook so nicely. He could translate all his Srila Prabhupada English books in Bengali. So Bengalis must be very much fortunate to get the books in Bengali by Srila Bakthi Charu Swami Maharaj. And he used to tell me that, you know, in this material world, nobody is happy. Nobody is happy. It is a dukha masa sadam. And we have seen that Jive Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. And Krishna is, everything is moving this whole of the universe, how it is so nicely moving and all those. Can any scientist do that? Then why you should not come to the Krishna consciousness? But these people sometimes feel that I am doing the challenges, I will do excel, I will do in material, but what else you can do? What Krishna, sorry, my hand shakes. Never mind, at least my mind does not shake yet. So, Srila Bakthi Charu Swami Maharaj, he told me that slowly, and Srila Prabhupada is also, that all people in the world slowly will come to this Krishna consciousness, because there is no other way, he told, because other way you die and take part, and old age and disease, these things are there. So I am about 80 years old. So problem is always there in the old age. But never mind, once you are in the devotee association, and Srila Bakthi Charu Maharaj, one time he told me, don't worry, whenever you feel like you come to Mayapur, I will take care of you. So he was so much compassionate to his devotees. And whatever I used to cook for him, he used to take. I also not a good cook, but I do some sweets, preparations at least. I gave it to him, he used. So he is so much compassionate to his devotees, and he gave this book he has written in this Karuna Sindhu, Ocean of Mercy, where he has told that he went to Germany by hitchhiking. Just calling somebody, you give me help, take care. He went there up to Germany, because why he went to Germany? His auntie is in Germany, so he went to Germany. And ultimately, he took about 1 month to reach to Germany from Kolkata. So he could do all these things, hitchhiking. These are, so how you can do this? Basically, you have to have full faith. That time he did not have Guru, because he came in 1976, he could get initiated from Srila Prabhupada. And he did all things in Excel, like cooking. Srila Prabhupada started liking cooking. He translated all books, and he did that as he did that movie also. That is Srila Prabhupada movie. What he did not do, he could do everything so nicely. And in 2020, he left us because that was his different issue. It is basically, he knows that this is the corona time, and in America there is not much treatment also. But he told that, yes, as a Vaishnava we should go and do all the things, as because my disciples are there. So he is a real guru for his disciples, he can do anything. So that's, he is a real Vaishnava who helped, if he was there, he could have made the whole world to become Krishna conscious, but he will come in another way, because now he went, and definitely he will, and you know, his mother also expired at a very early age. And when he was about 7 years, she got TB. And then all those things she could, that is Bakthi Charu Swami Maharaj could take care even at that age. We also take care of our parents. That is their blessing is very, very important for everybody. That blessing of the parents. But sometimes these days people don't care for this, but these things he emphasized everywhere, Srila Bakthi Charu Swami Maharaj. So I want to end here. I don't know whether I have baptized Devoti Nandan Babu, can I speak? Hare Krishna. Srila Bakthi Charu Maharaj Vyasa Mahamotsav ki Nitai Gaur Siddhanath Pramanam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Kulashekar Prabhu. Alright, so I understand there are quite a number of devotees who would like to say words in glorification of Srila Maharaj. So, therefore, may I request everyone to keep their offerings short. We'll do this until about 11:45, so I seek your cooperation that we make the glorifications short, maybe within 5 minutes or so. So may I invite Sriman Swami Prakash Prabhu to come and say a few words in glorification of Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namne. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshikarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna. As Balakrishna Prabhuji was making his offering, I remembered this wonderful time when I got an opportunity to associate with Maharaj. I think it was around 10 years ago when Maharaj came here. That was the first time I saw Maharaj, and I had the opportunity of driving Maharaj to Prabhuji's house for a house program. So Maharaj is very kind. First time I was seeing, and he was inquiring as we were driving. He was asking a lot of questions. So when did you start your Krishna consciousness, about family, and what are you doing? So it was a very, first time I was seeing Maharaj, and it never seemed like it was the first time. So as all devotees have shared, he was so loving and caring. And by the time we reached Prabhuji's house, normally I would call Prabhuji and ask him to wait if I'm not familiar with the entrance, because HDB sometimes there are multiple entrances. I forgot it completely because I was talking to Maharaj and I didn't realize. And then I just stopped somewhere and I got down and I was taking Maharaj, yes Maharaj, this way. And it so happened that it was not the right entrance, so we had to go a few times around the block. I was really getting very scared, Maharaj would be upset. And Maharaj was, because Maharaj is very particular with time, as we have noticed, always Maharaj is on time everywhere. And we were just on the dot, and Maharaj asking me, you don't know how to go to the house? Should have checked everything before, So, but in a very loving way. I never felt that Maharaj was upset and he was chastising me. But it was a very loving way Maharaj told me. And I realized that I should have taken care of this. Then after that, the program also, Maharaj asked me to take prasadam. So he was so caring and so personal. I was reminded of a verse from Bhagavatam as devotees were sharing. This is in 4th canto, 12th chapter, 37th verse. The verse says, Shantaha samadrishaha shuddhaha sarva bhutanuranjanaha yanti anjasa achyuta vadam achyuta priyabandava. So these are the qualities of pure devotee. And we can see that in the manifested fully in Bakthi Charu Maharaj's personality. That Maharaj is very peaceful, he's equipoised. He's equipoised, he's never disturbed, never agitated in circumstances, and Maharaj has seen so much in his life. Yet he was always undisturbed, unagitated, and he was always very pleasing behavior with everyone. And he was always intimate with his devotees of Krishna. So that was the kind of association Maharaj always had. And these are the qualities we see from Bhagavatam in the personality of Bakthi Charu Maharaj. And the verse says that such devotees very quickly go back to Krishna. And we see how Maharaj, could have stayed for much longer time with us and given us association, but also Maharaj had a strong desire to go back to Srila Prabhupada and serve him. And that's why Krishna arranged it in such a way that Maharaj left us all, but as devotees have shared, Maharaj's instructions are always with us and we simply have to follow. And one thing that Maharaj shared in the lecture today, that this humility and tolerance, I think if these two qualities we can somehow or the other develop by the mercy of pure devotees, then I think our success is also guaranteed. So we just pray today on this auspicious day, the lotus feet of Maharaj, that please let us all develop these qualities of humility and tolerance, and that way serve each other and cooperate with each other, and that way please Maharaj and please Srila Prabhupada. Jai Swami Bakthi Charu Swami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai Swami Swami Prakash Prabhu ki
Jai.
Next, we would like to invite Ram Bhakta Prabhu to say a few words in glorification of Sri Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bakthi Charu Swami Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bakthi Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharya Visheshwanyavadi Paschatya Deshitari. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for this wonderful opportunity. So I'll take a short time. I know devotees have spoken about how the Maharaj's qualities and various pastimes. I wanted to share a small incident and the realization that I had with the minimum amount of association I had with Maharaj. I think we had a wonderful opportunity. We were fortunate to have taken darshan of Maharaj 3 times. Once in Mayapur, and once in Chennai, once in Singapore. So this incident happened in Chennai when Maharaj visited Chennai to visit my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jagannath Swami Maharaj, because my Guru Maharaj had his operation, the major operation done somewhere in 2015-16, and Bakthi Charu Maharaj came there to visit his dear friend, god brother. So we were all, it was like a very big festival for us because Maharaj is coming, and then our Guru Maharaj was also getting well. So Bakthi Charu Maharaj came, and then in the Chennai temple, Maharaj gave a very nice lecture and a very sweet melodious kirtan, so which we were not able to forget. The melody of the kirtan and the reciprocation from the crowd was amazing. So we had this opportunity to hear from Maharaj, and we our son Gaura, right? We had actually told him that every time a sannyasi or a sadhu comes, you have to do some service to them. How you can fan them, or you can do some kind of service. So we told him when they are giving lecture or doing kirtan, you can fan them. So he remembered that. And that time when Bakthi Charu Maharaj was giving the lecture, nobody was fanning him. Suddenly, after the lecture started, it was going on. Maharaj was very deep inside the philosophy. He was talking about Guru Maharaj and all the glories of Srila Prabhupada. Suddenly, he started receiving some cool breeze from the side. He suddenly stopped the entire class and he started, there was an exchange between Gaura and Maharaj, which we relished. Actually, what happens is that is captured in a YouTube video, and we see that every festival when Bakthi Charu Maharaj's appearance day comes, we actually happen to see that and relive that particular moment. So Maharaj stopped the entire class and he turned towards him and he saw him, and then he was fanning. And then Maharaj said, "It's okay, you sit down." So he wouldn't do that. And then he started his class. Again he started fanning. Maharaj said, "Somebody stop him." And he was smilingly telling him, "Sit down, come sit down." And then he didn't stop. Then he said, "Okay, it's okay, you continue." And then after that, what happened is, we are so low. We have some kind of desires which are like not really common, not really spiritual. For example, that point in time, some devotee made a very nice, beautiful garland for Maharaj, which I believe is one of the most beautiful garland I have ever seen. They offered such a beautiful garland to Maharaj, specifically Chennai being a very hot place, it is very rare to find flowers, such beautiful flowers. Somebody found such flowers, they made a nice garland for Maharaj and they offered the garlands. The moment the garlands were offered, the entire crowd, the sound of the crowd like, ooh, something like that. Because the beauty of the garland, and then when it was offered to Maharaj, it became more beautiful. So, the moment that garland was offered, deep inside my heart, we also have another habit that whenever some sadhu comes, we will pester that sadhu and then will not leave that sadhu without getting a maha. We had this, my wife specifically have this habit, somehow or the other she will get a maha and then offer it to others. So I had a desire in my heart that how good it will be if that garland, that maha, if my son gets it. This desire was there within my heart. Simultaneously, my wife sitting apart on Mataji's side, she also had the same desire. That how nice it would be if that garland was offered to Gaura. It is a very bad desire because we were so selfish. But what happened after the entire program was over, Maharaj received various garlands, many garlands, I think more than 10 garlands. And then they took Maharaj to another place to cut cake and all these things. So we were not given entrance, and also I was stopping my wife saying that why do you want to crowd and then disturb him? So let's stay here, and we stood on the way. And then after all that happened, the number of garlands keep coming down and down because we would offer the garlands to everyone. But even when the beautiful garland, when it came on the front, he didn't offer that. He actually offered everything below that. Like the garland came in the front, he offered something, took it out and then offered everything to others. He kept all the garland, finally only one garland remained there in his neck. Then Maharaj was turning here and there all the while. Then what happened when Maharaj was approachable, there was no crowd and we went and approached and then Gaura fell in Maharaj's lotus feet and we said, Maharaj, please bless him. And immediately what Maharaj said is, where were you? All the while I was actually looking for you. I was looking only for you. And then this garland I had kept it only for you, not for anybody else. Because we all saw this the whole time that the garland was coming in the front, he was not offering that to anybody. He was taking the garland below it and giving to everyone. He offered and he embraced Gaura with so much of love. It was a very memorable, memorable exchange, the moment we actually relish every year, which is something I wanted to share with everyone. The learning I took from that is, whatever desires that we have in our heart, right, it will be fulfilled. And these sadhus have the power, ability to understand, reciprocate the same way which, we desire. So that is something that we have learned. And Maharaj is very, very dear, very kind and loving to children. You all must be knowing, right? And every time we met, Maharaj would call the children, embrace them. So we were very fortunate that our children were embraced by Maharaj all 3 times when we met. He gave a very nice, tight embrace to both our children. So that's something that I wanted to share because we remember that Maharaj, that moment when Maharaj reciprocated so much love, we were able to feel the love and care and affection just by Maharaj's smile. It was so beautiful. Maharaj's smile is, I can still remember Maharaj's smile, right in front of my eyes. So thank you, Prabhu. I didn't want to share, the kind of Maharaj's qualities and all these things. I thought it will be make the moment a little light, so that I can share this pastime that happened. How we were inspired, and like many sadhus, we got this opportunity to relive that moment with Maharaj. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Next, we would like to invite Vibhav Krishna Prabhu. I got your name right?
Yes.
Like to say.
Hare Krishna. Srila Bakthi Charu Swami Maharaj ki. Srila Bakthi Charu Maharaj, we all know, was always a special devotee. Maharaj came in 1976, and typically those days, Indians who would join, they came from various backgrounds, had certain aspirations also. But here was when he met Prabhupada, he always attracted Prabhupada's attention, coming from a very aristocratic Bengali family, very learned, he had traveled the whole world, and Prabhupada took a liking, and as devotees mentioned, within 3 months he actually got all the initiations from Srila Prabhupada. Bakthi Charu Maharaj, like his spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, showed deep love and care for all the devotees. It is said, Srila Prabhupada is like a Kohinoor diamond, and all his disciples, showcase one of the facets of that